All right, can everyone hear me?
I can hear you, which I hope means everyone else can.
Okay. Well, I just want to thank you, Mike. That was a great segue into me. Just looking at what I wanted to present today. I have a lot of things to share. Just before SDG, I was just kind of in the rut. I have a 9-month-old daughter, and so I was working 2 jobs just to make ends meet. While my fiance was pregnant, I was doing for the one job I was 6 to 3, and then 4 to midnight, 4 days a week. And it just got to a point where it's just like I need to invest in myself. I need to get bigger. I need to do something for me and my family. I've always been a creative. I love challenges, and I just felt like at the time I was not being challenged at either job. They were just dead end jobs, and that's when I started looking into coding and looking around and looking at different options in the area, and I came upon SDG. Um, and my fiance, one of her friends, has her girlfriend's husband graduated the Iron Yard. So it came highly recommended. I looked at all, results of like people going through it and how they felt about it, and it was all positive. So I was very, very excited to get started. So when I did get started, um, it was a roller coaster. It was definitely a roller coaster, but it was fun. I like roller coasters. Um, it was up and down. It was a lot of information packed into how many weeks? 12 weeks. And I'm just really happy with the product that I have to show for you today because it took a lot of time and work. So without further ado, this is my app. It's what's for dinner. It's basically an application made um, for people. What it is. It's to decide what to have for dinner. This came up because I'm constantly being asked, and I'm sure many people might out there be the same thing. It's like whether it's lunch, it's anytime, hey, what do you guys want to have to eat? And it's always, I don't care, or whatever you want, or, things like that. And my fiance used to just make fun of me for always saying this. And so I just decided, you know what, I can make an application where we can go in and I can figure it out, and so basically what I did is I made an interface starting with the proteins. I thought that was like the better way to differentiate in the beginning. And also just to note, this is like a version 1 of what I want this application to be. And I'll touch on that later. So if you go in and you select chicken, you'll be given all these options. Okay. So this is going to come out as it's going to tell the name, the protein group, the nationality, and then a list of ingredients for the given recipe. You're going to have cooking steps and the cooking time at the end. And it's very easy. It's very simple. That's what I was going for. I wanted this to make a very easy user experience. And then it's literally as easy as clicking start over, right? And then you can go into pork, Mexican, and then you're given 3 right here. And this is all just off of the data that I've given it currently, right? So just for the sake of time, again, I only had 3 weeks to make this full stack application. So for the sake of time, I just wanted to give 3 examples of each of the nationalities combined with the proteins. So I'd like to just show you, if you inspect, if I can inspect this right here, and I'll show you my components. If you go into the V, you'll see right now we're at recipes, pork, and Mexican. So if I start over, the state currently is only protein, right? So then if I go in here and I select fish, the state will be updated to fish. And then if I select Italian, you'll get a fish and Italian dish from my database. This was the easiest way for me to implement this, and it's also very easy to navigate, which I really liked as opposed to routing. So then if I start over, it's literally, not to give you a headache, but Mexican, and then it's there and start over, right? I wanted that for the users. I wanted them, especially someone with a kid, you know, knowing like you only get so many minutes in a day and you only have, you know, so much time to get something done. But the cooler feature here is the add recipe feature. Okay. So let's put this as presentation. Okay. The protein group will go with Italian, and the protein group is not Italian. That is nationality. Let's go with beef and then Italian. Okay. And the recipes, ingredients, let's get fun here. The ingredients, let's do a little C#. You know, we did some C# on this. We also did some SQL, which is the biggest driver of this application. It's very database driven. Did a little state, HTML, CSS, React. Now let's go with some steps. Steps. Present this accordingly. And the necessary cooking time to make it 12 weeks of a boot camp. Coding boot camp. So if I go in here and I submit this, now if I go in, here it is, presentation, beef, Italian, cooking steps, cooking time, and it will be updated in there. The one thing that I did want to incorporate after this, which for me, it's going to be an exercise in coding post-graduation, which I'm looking forward to, is implementing a user sign-in. I would like to be able to have like users store their own recipes, you know, and then like have like an upvote and a downvote system for that user. I just didn't have enough time throughout these 3 weeks to implement that. I just wanted to have like a functioning working app for me to, you know, show to everyone. But that's something post-graduation that I would love to implement. And, you know, it's going to help me practice, keep coding. And so I'm really looking forward to that as far as, you know, practice and also having, you know, keeping the muscle memory of coding and deploying and X, Y, and Z. And then after that, you know, possibly focusing on, you know, another project. But what I would like to also, I guess, show off here is when I was doing my SQL, I started out with 1,200 lines of code for my SQL, for my database, which was like a lot. It was very overwhelming at the time, having to put all of these in. And what I realized was that once I implement this into my app, it's going to just kind of be a run-on statement. Like if it's going to just keep going throughout the lines, like it's not going to be very nice and neat and appear the way it does here. So I went in, and what I did was I went through and I manually indented everything myself for where I wanted the line breaks to be, everything like that. And then I got rid of the spaces. And what I did, if you can see, is I put @ signs at the end of each break, right? So in here, in not add recipes, it is in recipes. My code that I wrote was I wanted to pass down the filtered recipes using props from my filter recipes. And then I wanted to map it. So when you go in and I wanted to take it as the recipe and the nationality of the recipe, right? And it's going to list the ingredients with a split, which is, you know, a function for JS. And I wanted to use the @ symbol. So wherever I put an @ symbol, I wanted it to split my code. And then I wanted to map that for what the ingredient's going to be called into the ingredients being called. So it'd give it a nice indentation when it came through on the other end when I had to format it back to HTML. So that's a code that like I thought about for a long time, and I'm pretty proud of that. So that's where all this comes in, and the layout of it being formatted nicely. But that's really about it. I spent a good amount of time on this. I'm pretty proud of it. I'm pretty proud for this to be kind of like the skull and bones of what I want this to be eventually. And that's about it. Before I go, I would also just like to say, like, I'm proud of everyone that presented today, for everyone that made it through the cohort. I know how challenging it has been, and I just want to thank all like my fellow classmates for, being helpful and everything else. I just want to wish everyone the best of luck on the career search and whatever life holds for you at the end of the day. And I just want to thank SCG, most importantly, for giving me this platform and allowing me to learn. You guys have been great. Anytime I needed anything, uh, everyone has been amazing. So with that, I just want to say thank you. And if you have any questions, I'll be around. And then I haven't gotten to a link for my email or anything yet because I just came home from campus. But I can put my information in the Discord at the end if you would like. So with that, that's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Um, Wonderful. I think that there's some comments here. In Catherine says, I'm excited to see what you keep adding to this app. Great job in knowing to stick to your MVP and planning for more. And Kento also says, thank you, Rob. You did great this cohort. Does anyone have any? So the standard Liz question is, you did mention the part that you were proud of. What do you think was the hardest part of building this app?
I think the hardest part of the app was, well, for me personally, so I kind of fumbled in the beginning. I kind of went in a way where I wanted to route all my different pages. Like I wanted to have it where chicken, if I clicked on chicken, it would go to chicken. And then from there, you would select the nationality instead of using state. So that's kind of why I highlighted that in the beginning, because it was like a revelation and it came to me like, I'm just happy it was sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Because it made my application a lot more easier to deal with and everything like that. So for me, the hardest part was, having what I thought was a good structure for everything, and then having to be like, okay, I have to scrap this, and now, I have X amount of days to get this done.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the harder part for me. But other than that, I really enjoyed working on this. And then when I was talking about the indenting and the putting the @ symbols as cursors for the breaks, that took me like 3 hours, which was surprising. I didn't think it was going to take that long, and I was like zipping through it too. So
Nice.
that was the way more tedious part of it, but I had a lot of fun creating this.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic work, and a round of applause for me. You got some some gifts and some claps here in Twitch and Discord. And with that, I want to say thank you.